And hello, hi, I'm Don Browne, broadcasting here live this afternoon from La Belle, Florida, where it's getting a little chilly tonight. One of the two lowest temperature nights we've had in the last 2 years. They're saying get down in the 30s apparently tonight and again tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for joining the webcast. Give you a little background. Um, I'm a certified trainer of the Moving for Better Balance program, which is a program designed to teach basic Tai Chi, especially to older folks who have a tendency to fall more than other people. And the Moving for Balance program trains one to have a better balance and more strength and to eliminate falling, which is the most common injury for folks 55 and older, and most common big problem for older folks. Today we're talking about meditation, or as I really prefer to call it, awareness. Many people are familiar with the term meditation. They use it for relaxation, for increasing their health, their mental stability, mental health. I like to think of it more of a method or a practice of awareness. Because what we really want to do to increase our mental health as well as physical health is to be aware of our surroundings, aware of ourself, aware of our feelings, aware of our thoughts. And if you can do that, you will be way better off than you've ever been before when you were not aware. Now, although awareness training, awareness that we'll be doing will make you feel relaxed, that's not the main purpose. Being relaxed is more of a goal. You can say, okay, I'm going to sit down and relax and feel a little better, not be so tense, not be so distracted or distressed. And then you do that, and sure enough, after a few minutes or a little while, you will meet your goal. And then it's done. You've met the goal and it's done. What we probably should better look at is being aware at all times. So along with that awareness will become a natural relaxation of sorts, less stress, less distress. So if you can kind of move your mind towards the idea of being aware, being awake, you find that will benefit you greatly over time, because everything will lead from that or lead to that. You'll be relaxed, you'll be more balanced, you'll be able to make better decisions, you'll be less stressed just by becoming aware. And that's part of our secrets. Secret being something that's not known. And most people, they're not totally aware of awareness behind me. So I never really heard the term awareness until recent years. So we'll get into those little secret techniques that I've learned and practiced over many decades of lifetime. And let me first talk a little bit more about how you can get to awareness and what things you should be thinking about along with the awareness. We talked a little bit about goals. You might have the goal of being relaxed. Okay, so that's a goal, and you meet it in a few minutes or over a short period of time. You might have a goal of getting a raise at work. You might have a goal of getting your dinner prepared on time, or a goal of getting to work on time, a goal of doing this, doing that. And that's all well and good. We all need to have some sort of goals, or else we might just become pretty static. But more important than that is the idea of values. A value is something that kind of reaches out into infinity. It's not something that you do and finish like a goal. Uh, Typically, values are something that are long term. There's something that you want to be or you want to become, and typically they can be described as some sort of a verb or adverb. I'll just give you some examples of ones that I personally have picked. Now, this is not limited. You can go over hundreds of different values. Now, and a value, by the way, is not a moral idea. It's nothing to do with, I want to be honest. I want to, it's not something to do with any religion or morality or don't do this or don't do that. These are all actually, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad to anything to do with the value. It's just something that you want to be. Well, I suppose if your value is you want to be the meanest person around, that may or may not be a good idea as a value. But I'll just give you some examples of values, and you can think about them and add them to your list. And typically, you want to come down with about, say a dozen values. And then once you have these values, after I go through this list, I'll let you know what you do with these values, which is a very important part of this, going into the secrets of meditation. All right, so some of my personal values include traveling. So again, it's not a goal. It's not like a goal might be go to Disney World by June. That would be a goal. Traveling is more broad, and it reaches out, basically forever until I change, or if I change the value. You can change the values anytime you want. So traveling, just the idea. I like to see new things that I haven't seen before. Travel gives you a bit of relaxation, change of pace. So traveling is one of my values. Learning new things is another one of my values. I've always been a book reader and a student and always trying to learn new things. So learning new things is one of my values. Now, a goal might be to read the New York Times most popular book in the next month. That would be a goal. And once you've done it, you're done. So learning new things is more far reaching. You're not going to get to the end of that. So learning new things is one of my values. Relaxation and meditation. So I think it's important for everybody, and especially for me, getting up in age, my 70th decade, to be relaxed and use meditation to learn to become aware. And you can substitute awareness for meditation if you like. So relaxation and meditation is one of my values. And again, a goal might be to relax or meditate once a day or every day or whatever. And I could even make a goal of doing it for 5 minutes a day, twice a day. That would be the goal. But the value of relaxation meditation is ongoing. It's ongoing. It doesn't end. Another one of my values is enjoying hobby or sport. I have many hobbies I've had since childhood or later on, and enjoyed not too many sports. As a younger person, I used to do, your typical basketball and football and that kind of stuff. Not so much anymore. I used to play tennis every day. My only sport now is basically like Tai Chi, Qigong, that kind of a nice, gentle, slow exercise, which actually is very helpful. So anyway, that would be my values: enjoying a hobby or sport. Okay, another value I chose was enjoying art, music, or literature. And I've been a professional musician in my past endeavors. I've done some amateur oil painting, and of course enjoy reading a lot. So all those things are enjoyable, and it's an ongoing thing. So that was one of my values: enjoying art, music, and literature. And another value I chose was emotional intimacy and personal sharing. And that one probably came a bit later in life, probably when I was younger and just fighting to make a living and survive day to day. I didn't give much thought to emotional intimacy. In fact, unfortunately, the making a living got in the way of that. And you may find the same thing in your life too. But anyway, so I chose that emotional intimacy and personal sharing as a value. Next one is long term commitment and fidelity, which is kind of a corollary almost to the intimacy. So picking someone that you could have a long-term relationship with and stick with that relationship. Another goal, or not a goal, a value, I should say, is physical intimacy. Another kind of corollary to that. So choose to be physically intimate, and that would be a value. Another value would be emotional connection with partner. Another value, on changing lanes a little bit, was helping others. And I've been doing that for a great number of years, doing a lot of volunteer work, especially as I was winding down from making a living. So I did church volunteer work, community volunteer work. For a few years, I volunteered at our local senior center to teach Tai Chi to seniors. So helping others, a value. And again, a goal might be to volunteer at the church once a week for 6 months. That would be a goal. But helping others is just an ongoing thing. And the goals involved in that might be changing from time to time, but the helping others is pretty much a continual idea. That's something you want to be, something you want to do. Okay, and then changing gears a little bit more, one of my values is eating healthy foods. And I've pretty much done that most of my life, but as you get older, your metabolism slows down. You start putting on a pound or two every year, and so you're more conscious of how it's probably very beneficial to make sure you choose healthy foods and eat healthy foods. So that's one of my values. The other one is exercising regularly. Similarly, as you get older, the exercise becomes more valuable as your muscles lose tone. You lose muscles over the years. And another value is psychological awareness and mental health. And the last one I chose is living as long as possible. And of course, who wouldn't want to do that? Presumably, everybody would like to live as long as possible. But again, it's a value. You could have lots of goals in there, which would include, eating nice meals and sleeping regularly and getting exercise and so forth. So anyway, those are the values that I chose. And again, these are things that will last a long time. They're just ongoing, and you can substitute and change to a different value anytime you want. But the idea is to choose about a dozen values that are very important to you. Not a goal, but a value. And you should write those down and put them somewhere that you can easily see them. And through the day, I'll show you some secrets on how to use those. Put them on your refrigerator, put it in your pocket, even memorize them if you're good at memorizing. I'm not so good at memorizing anymore, but I have that list available so I can look at it from time to time. Now you say, why would you want to be looking at those? Okay, the idea of values is your behavior and your thinking should match with your dozen values. So if you are doing some activity that is not leading you to those values, you might wonder why you're doing that. And it's probably because of it. You just got in the habit of doing X thing and Y thing. And now that you have your values, you can say, well, do I need to be looking at my phone several times an hour? Is that leading me to any of my values? Well, it may or may not. Do I need to be eating out restaurant foods every day? Well, it might lead you to values or not. So you just take a look at your day-to-day activities and ask yourself, are these leading to my values? And then you can decide, well, do I want to modify that? Do I want to switch to some other behavior, some other thing to do? And then you decide. Now, similarly, our thinking is a big problem for all of us. If if you just sit down, and we'll be doing that secret later too, if you sit down and think about what you are thinking about, which sounds kind of strange, thinking about what you're thinking about, which isn't easy to do because our minds don't work that way. It doesn't, we don't necessarily want to know what we're thinking. It just goes on automatic pilot. And if you tried that, and actually we'll be doing that as part of the secrets, think about your thoughts. Typically, our thoughts are pretty negative. We're like blaming ourselves for doing something that seemed pretty stupid or making some mistake. Oh boy, why did I do that? Or we're thinking negative of somebody else. Oh, why did they do that? They shouldn't have done that. That was really dumb. Or why did that happen to me? That's not my fault, or whatever. You're thinking of things that are usually negative. Now, if you said those out loud to even your best friend or partner, if you told them all the thoughts that go through your head, they would say, I think you need to see somebody about that because it would be very strange. So what I'm getting to is the thoughts that we tell ourselves and the things that we think about are probably not something we want to tell somebody else because they would seem very unhealthy and in fact probably are unhealthy. And we've done that just as a matter of habit, as a matter of training. And, growing up, our parents might have hounded us about something. So we feel guilty about that. And it's on our mind. Or partner tells us something and that's on our mind. So we think about that. Our boss tells us something and we think, oh boy, I shouldn't have done that. So you get all this negativity just on and on and on. We ruminate it and go over it and over it. And we try to problem solve. And I'll tell you some secrets about problem solving in our minds later on. You might be surprised to hear some of those secrets. So the idea is we want to take a look at our thoughts and we want to take a look at our behaviors in life. And then compare those with our values and see if they match up. And if they don't match up, then you have to decide, do I want to continue this habit or this behavior or this thinking, or do I want to make some modifications or change to a different way of doing something, a different way of thinking? And once we can get that habit going, the habit of reversing our negative thoughts and our habit of doing things that don't lead us to our values, they might lead us to a goal, but they don't necessarily lead to a value. The value is the important part. So let me just summarize that a little bit we've talked about for the last 15 minutes. You want to make a list of your values, about a dozen. Write them down, put them somewhere where you can see them very easily, and then try to gradually think about what you're thinking about. Notice what your behaviors are through the day. See if they match up to those values or any of the values, one or more. And if they don't, see if you want to make some changes to that thinking or behavior. Okay, so that's our beginning step here. Okay, now let me give you just a little secrets about meditation or awareness training. It depends on where you are on this. You may have been doing these kind of exercises for years. You may have never done it. You might know about it, but never tried it. Basically, awareness training, meditation, is trying to clear your mind and not be distracted and not be judgmental. And of course, you'll see later, our minds are pretty much judgmental most of the time. So we want to try to train our minds not to be judgmental and not to be distracted. Now, the easiest way, and most people have probably heard of just paying attention to your breathing. So one secret way that I've done for some time is a counting method of breathing. You breathe in, you inhale to the count of 4, and you can do any speed of counting to 4 that you want. The slower, the better, but do it whatever's comfortable for you. So you inhale for 4 counts. Then you hold that for 7 counts. Then you exhale through your mouth typically, but you don't have to, but exhale for 8 counts. So you inhale through your nose, hold that for 7 counts, and then exhale through your mouth if that's comfortable for you for 8 counts. So it's 4, 7, 8, 4, 7, 8. Inhale for 4 breaths, hold it for 7, or inhale it for 4 counts, hold it for 7 counts, and exhale for 8 counts. And the slower you do it, the better, but do it at your own pace so that you're not uncomfortable in holding your breath and exhaling and inhaling. Now, some people have some problem. They're a little scared or fearful. They have a little bit of distress about holding their breath or holding it for some time. They, could be from childhood or some trauma or something. So just do it at your own pace so that you don't have any fear or distress in this counting idea. But you will eventually find it very, very helpful. And you might say, well, why is this counting important? Why is it a secret? Well, the idea, of course, of the awareness training is you're trying to get your brain to not be judgmental, getting your brain to not be distracted. So if you're doing the breathing and counting, your brain is thinking only about counting and inhaling, holding, and exhaling. So it eliminates the capacity for your brain to be thinking about what you got to do, an hour from now, what you got to be doing tomorrow, or thinking about what you did an hour ago in the past. So the idea of paying attention to your breathing and doing this counting is the secret little sauce there that allows you to train your brain to not be distracted and train your brain to not be judging, because you can't hardly judge too much about counting numbers. I guess you could, but typically you're not going to judge numbers. So anyway, so that's one of our secrets for today, and we'll get into way more secrets of awareness training, secrets of how to use your values, how to become generally more productive, more happy, and more, shall I say, more balanced in your life, and your friends, your family, your partners will notice a big change in, I will say, 30 days. We'll give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'll give you every cent you paid. But in all seriousness, if you stick with this for 30 days, and we'll try to do some very regular little live webcasts here and give you some little secrets of meditation and awareness training. If you do this, I guarantee in 30 years, people are going to notice a difference, and you're going to notice a difference, and you'll be a totally more balanced and relaxed person. So anyway, my name is Don Browne, and I am live broadcasting today from the little town of LaBelle, Florida, outside of Fort Myers in Southwest Florida. And please leave comments. And I forgot to mention, I do a regular podcast called Mood Gym with Don Browne. Mood, M-O-D, Gym, G-Y-M, with Don Browne. And you can find that on any podcast, Apple, Google, Stitcher, any of them. You'll find it. Just search for Mood Gym with Don Browne. And you can also do it on your smart speaker. You can even do it on Roku TV on their iTunes channel. Or you can, the place I put it directly, I'll give you put the link in the notes below too, is Anchor, like a boat anchor, ANCHOR.FM/. Don dash Browne, FM, anchor.fm/Don dash Browne. I'll put that in the notes. And that's where I do it directly, and you can easily find it there. But you can find it on any podcast. And I'll be talking about some of the same secrets and so forth we're doing here as well. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and please make some comments and ring the little bell so when you to subscribe to this webcast, and you'll be able to be aware of all the new sessions that I do. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you later.